Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rico here, CEO of Sourcefine Asia, host of Made in China podcast, and the host of the Sourcefine Asia YouTube channel. Of course, back with another one. And I gotta tell you, it feels so good to be back.
I notice when I walk outside, I hope this pays off. One day I chose it, one day, someday I hope it. Went in the big labels and saw plaques on walls, but I didn't post it. Didn't want to gas or boast it, that's not one of the things I'm made of. But one day will it pay off? Mum says I got to do music and dad says to not quit my day job. It's a hard one still, it's not fake, the bars are real. Sometimes I can rely on people's advice, I can't rely on pills. I notice now, things keep falling down. When they fall I still build them up. Hard when you don't know how. Something's changed, yeah you know the deal. At the end of the day, I'm over that one still. Over that one. When I play shows I'm sober at none. Not from London, no the accent. Not just talking, loads of action. Is this music or is it acting? One step forward then go backwards. Think it makes me over anxious. Things can change, it's known to happen. I feel like I don't need people's help. And then when I think about it I'm proud I could have been someone else.
I guess the takeaway is just like, just like any legal system, whether it's in the West or, in China, it's like, if you know how to play the legal system, there are people that will take advantage of that. Like, there's all the stories about, the people that go to McDonald's or, a Nike store, put some water on the floor and then slip and I broke my back, and then they sue them for $1 million, whatever. It's like, it happens, right? And then those companies have to weigh up, like, is it worth really pursuing this, or do we just pay this person $50,000 and move on? So yeah, I think it's the same thing in China, except you have to, as a foreigner, you have to add in like the language barrier and some of the cultural differences, and it just being a completely different system, like the stuff that you're talking about, the enforcement court, like that's something so foreign that, hey, you owe money to somebody, and if you don't pay it, we're basically going to send our version of bounty hunters to come and get you, and if you can't pay it, you're going to go to jail or detention first. That's something I also learned from one of my employees. Her mom was Hong Kongese, and I think she had borrowed money for something, but she couldn't pay it back, and she was constantly having to go to detention because she would be paying and then she couldn't pay because it was such a large amount of money. And then she was like constantly in and out of detention. And I was like, I didn't understand what was going on. So one of the times I asked my employee, I was like, can you just explain to me why is your mom always in and out of jail? And she just explained, she's like, yeah, in China, if you owe money and you can't pay, you have to go in. And I was like, whoa, what the, like, it's kind of a counterintuitive anyways, because it's like, well, if I'm in jail, how am I going to make money to pay back these debts?
Yeah, they do it. They'll put you there, and then you have to think about a way to do it, but then they'll send you out, and then if you don't do it, you just go back in. And it's true, you could just keep going back and forth. That's true.
she was great. It was sad, man, when she broke it down to me, because her mom was in and out of jail for like years, right, trying to pay back this money that she owed, and then she didn't do anything nefarious. She borrowed money for, I think it might have been a business as well, or she was working in a company, and she was like, how you have in the company you have like the different legal ranks. So like there's a guy who's in charge of finance, and then there's somebody else who's like the owner and whatever. And if you are listed as the person in charge of finance, if something goes wrong financially, you're liable. It's not,
you're liable.
So she was that in the company, and I think the company had borrowed money, and then she ended up being the fall guy.
That was me. I was the Farah. So the Farah bears all responsibility. And what big companies do in China is they'll go out into some rural area, and they'll get the farmer just to sign the document that he's the Farah, and they'll just and then they just do whatever they want. But he'll sign like he has no decision making, he has no access to the company whatsoever. He's just signed that he's the Farah. It's like the little gray area that you're like, what? That's not right. And then, you guys can do whatever you want with this company. You can all leave, and then they're going to come and find him. They're like, yep, you signed that, dude.
You signed it, it's crazy. But man, it's good that everything's resolved. So where are you right now? You still in China or?
Still in Shenzhen. Yep. Still in Shenzhen.
And I follow the white collar fight nights on Instagram. So I see the promotions, the updates and stuff like that. It's been cool to see.
Yeah, trying my best. It's fun. It's a passion business, The boxing kind of draws a lot of attention. It's a personal passion of mine to make people fight and win this little, personal achievement. They kind of get, the zero to hero. They, there's guys that have opened up companies that have done really well, have kids. They're very, very successful. We even have like a local Chinese government senator. He's fighting as well. But when you go to his office, the very centerpiece is his white collar fight night trophy. That's the thing he likes to talk about. Not all his degrees and his awards. He's like, no, that's where. So that's nice. It kind of gives me a lot of fulfillment to be able to make something like this for people. It's good. Nice. And my latest, the business that I've made it now is it's a platform that connects coaches and members through live. So if you can imagine, any coach anytime can train any member anywhere. So you wake up in the morning and you'll be able to do a live stream class with a guru in India and do your meditation, right? And then in the evening, you can jump on and do a BJJ class with, some master black belt from Brazil, right? That I want to connect the whole world, all coaches training, members anywhere, anytime. And, but there's obviously a lot more secret sauce we're adding to that, but that's kind of the fundamental concept of what I want to build. So nice. It's a big undertaking, very, very big undertaking. But that's my big challenge.
So that's one of those things, like you said, it's a COVID baby because people were working out at home and couldn't physically go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I feel like you planted some seeds about something similar a couple of years ago, but not necessarily as extensive as this. But I feel like you mentioned having some ideas of something similar to this. Am I off on that, or?
Yeah, kind of doing something with connected fitness, right? Some sort of some tech business. Yeah, it's always been in the works. Something global, right? That hits the whole world, not something that's sort of confined to one particular market, but like a marketplace, a full marketplace, right? Like the next Didi or Airbnb or something, right? That's kind of always been like the big dream for me, right? And the name of this is Impact. I've called it Impact. Because I always get the question asked me, they're like, John, what's your goal in life? When people throw that question to you, you get all like, whoa, okay, I should have my speech prepared, right? But I was always very simple. I just said, I want to leave like a legacy. I want to impact the world. Like if you look at all the greats, people that, people all love, they've impacted the world in some way, right? Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Tony Robbins, they're just impactors, right? So I was like, let's call it Impact. Let's call this business Impact. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see if I can make some impact. It's step by step. There's a lot to cover, right? A lot to do.
Do you mind me asking, like, who are you working with on that project? And
I've got 4 other founders. One guy is in Shenzhen, is a really close friend of mine. We've actually known each other for easily about 10 years. He went to, one of the gyms that I built in Shenzhen. He was actually there. I think he was learning BJJ. Yeah, he was going to the BJJ class. And another guy is from Silicon Valley. He's a Y Combinator alumni. And he's opened some very, very successful businesses, done some like 3 very successful exits. And 2 other guys, one is a machine learning guy. So he, as a founder, I want to have machine learning as a key part of the platform. And then another CTO is he's Canadian. Yeah, he's Canadian. We're all fully remote. We're all over the world. Like I love what COVID did in that sense, that we're just, like what we're doing right now. We're just on Zoom. We can get whatever we need done. I absolutely love that. And it's even people in Shenzhen, they're like, hey, let's meet, let's talk. I'm like, no, let's go live. Come on, just go live. That's fine. That's the new, it's so easy now, right? And learning how to run a remote company, it's a little bit different, as the culture is a bit different, but once you learn it, it's very efficient, extremely efficient, I think I enjoy it.
It's for me, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because like for us in the Philippines, it's been like the Philippines has had the longest lockdown in the world, and also one of the strictest. So like for me, whenever I get a chance to to go outside, I want to go outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying in that aspect, in the sense of like, you know, it's taught people that you can get a lot done remotely. I think for me, like with our company, we were a little bit lucky because I was traveling quite a lot in 2019, and we actually started to set up remote work systems in 2019, just because I noticed my staff wouldn't go to the office when I was in China.
Nice.
They were still working, they just didn't physically want to, you know, go to the office. So yeah, so when COVID hit, it was a more natural process for us. But yeah, no, it's I think a lot of people, especially in China, well, I think in China it's still kind of back and forth, but in China I think a lot of people didn't realize that they could do remote work, because the office,
so
going
easy.
to the office culture is such a big thing in China, right? Like,
that's right. Rush hour time, everyone's packing the train, getting on it's just the sea of people, right? All hustling to go to work. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting to see what will come, because we learned a lot. New businesses grew, right? New cultures developed during COVID. So we're not, still the world isn't quite out of it yet, but I think, you know, it's the turnout is going to actually be much better for everyone. You know, there's going to be, obviously things aren't going to fully close it. Like, I don't like when people say, oh, you know, the world's going to be remote forever. No, those things will open up. There'll still be gyms, you know, but like, I'm not targeting,
you know,
like that people will still appreciate the in-face, you know, service and stuff, right? But I'm not targeting the people that, you know, are itching to go to the gym, that are like, can't wait. I'm targeting the people that never went to the gym, and they've always been there, that COVID or no COVID, they're always looking for a solution. They're shy to go to the gym, or they just want to work at home. They just want to do stuff at home. They're more introvert, right? This group of people in the fitness is way bigger. It's massive. It's massive, right? So there are less people going to the gym. I mean, there are less people going to the gym than people that work out at home, or, you know, even pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
That's right. Yeah. Imagine if everyone went to the gym. There'd be gyms would be packed, and it'd be on every corner, because it's such a small area considering the number of people, right? So there's a reason for that, why there's actually more people in homes than there are in the gym. That's who you target, right? That's who you know, we want to benefit. We want to make their lives better, right?
How, like with the white collar fight night and stuff like that, how did COVID impact that, if at all? Like, I mean, obviously there was, you know,
we went completely dry, zero, like no events, right? Even the thought of doing an event was like, shh, don't ever say that. Like, it was even like taboo to think about it, you know? I remember like, oh, it'd be so good to do an event. Like, no, you know, the police will come and But 2020, I did only 2 events, whereas 2019, I was doing 2 events every month. So we went from 2 a month to like 2 in the whole year. Yeah, but those 2 events in 2020 were very successful, because the community was itching to get into the ring. It created such a demand. And the first event we did back, I thought it would just be for fun, right? Like, it was just going to be in the gym. It was in my favorite gym in Shenzhen. It's right near SeaWorld. And I did it on Mexican Independence Day, because Mexican Independence Day is a special day in the year for boxing. You always have, it's because the Mexicans, their passion for boxing is like no other culture in the world. It's my favorite kind of boxing is Mexican boxing, right? Their style, you know, they fight with so much heart and passion. Like, all my favorite boxers are, other than Tyson Fury, is, you know, they're all Mexican, right? So I wanted to do Independence Day. I wanted to do a day on that day, and I had an amateur, a girl who was from Mexico, and she was an amateur, and I was like, can you be the main event? And I was, you know, it was just casual, like, yeah, this will be fun. But everyone came out for it. The entire Latin community got behind it. The place was packed. Everyone was buzzing about it. And I was like, wow, this is good. All right, let's do another one. Let's do a big one. And then in December, with the help of my girlfriend, she's very good at media, in Chinese social media. She has a lot of companies that pay her to do social media promotion. So she created a package where my event was part of a series of events that these brands sponsored. And we did the first ever outdoor event in SeaWorld. And, that was like, there's a couple thousand people got to see it, right? Just the design of the place that we were in, there was, you could be on the balcony and look down, and it was massively successful, extremely stressful to pull off because there was a lot of people that, needed to get, we need to shake a lot of hands. We had to make sure the government was okay with it, the local police were okay with it. We had to get a lot of support. And sometimes I thought like it wouldn't happen, but it eventually did come through. Massive success. People and the local government in that area, they want us to come back and do it again. So, we did lose some events, during COVID, but the ones that we did, at the end of 2020 were actually really important. They actually did more for the brand, the community, and just the overall future of what WCFN could be than any of the events prior. As crazy as that sounds, right? Like these two events just did more than all the other 4 years, right? There was so many relationships were built, and people it was a fresh look at what WCFN could be, right? So let's see, right? I did one event 2 weeks ago, just a local gym event, and I want to do another big one, an outdoor one. I want to do it August 14th, which is the same date that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are fighting. So I want to match this big heavyweight and do it on the same day and try to get some of that promotion, right?
How does that work exactly with the, I guess you have a partnership with the gym, and then you're charging for tickets, obviously, does the
no tickets
gym
for gyms.
No tickets. So it's just how does that work in terms of funding the event and stuff?
Just sponsors. It's just sponsors. Yeah. Just sponsors. To be honest, that last event, the December one, we did overshoot a bit. I got a bit confident, and I actually ended up having to pay a lot of money myself on that. I had to use, because I made a lot of promises. I had a full fight card. Everyone was excited about it, but then I just came short. It just always happens in an event. There's things you just have to pay for. So I was like, okay, I can't let everybody down. So I dipped into my own wallet and I paid for it. But I know the costs now, and I know I can balance it. I could doing it again. I think I could get it fully funded by sponsors. Like we had
I was about to say, I was like, obviously now that it's proven, you can go to sponsors and say, this is what we did last time.
Yeah, like even though it was an open air event, we had a little VIP area, and we sold, like if you bought the product of one of our sponsors, it was like 99 RMB, you could access the VIP area. But if you didn't want to, you could just sit and watch it. Like it was visible anywhere. And we sold like 150 of these tickets of these products. So the sponsor who was very happy, they were like, yeah, I sponsored, you created this, and I sold my product. I sold like a lot of units, even though it was at a discount, right? So it did work, right? Like you said, it did work. And so next time around, talking to sponsors, I can tell them like, look, this, if you have a product, we can put this as part of the, the sponsorship package. We can get these costs covered. We can make something big, and then in the future, let's see ESPN. I want to get I always joke about getting the ESPN deal, but yeah, I don't know. In order to really do something with WCFN, it needs an ESPN. It needs a media deal, right? A big media company come in. Yeah, but I always joke about it like that would happen, but I don't I don't think so. It took UFC almost 25 years to get that kind of a contract, right? So yeah, we're not quite there.
Well, I mean, I think it's a little bit different now, because you have also like online streaming platforms like Division and stuff like that, where it's like, obviously maybe not Division, but I'm sure there's smaller ones around the world or even in Asia that might latch on to something like that. Especially even in China, if you have Chinese, because I notice you do have quite a few Chinese fighters as well. So it's like, foreigners and Chinese people fighting. I see that being something that something that could be very interesting.
Yes. The last event that I just did 2 weeks ago, there was a 49-year-old man. He fought, Chinese guy, fought against another Chinese guy, 23 years old. And he didn't win, but it was the fight got to the end to where nobody knew like who was going to win. Like it looked even, right? But the judges, I think there was just a few more points on the young guy's side. But you can imagine as a 49-year-old man, right? You know, you want to do this fight, and I'm like, yeah, don't worry. And I create a safe, you know, system. It's the rules are all everything's very, very ultra safe, right? That he can go and experience this. He can go fight. You know, I get in afterwards. He gets all these photos of him. You know, he's fighting. Then he goes back to his business buddies. He's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't win the fight, but this guy's 23 years old. Come on, like it's half my age. Like, come on. So I really like that guy.
I didn't beat the 23-year-old, but I could beat you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I'll beat you. Yeah, that's what you want. You want to create a system where everybody does win, right? Everyone does. Everyone gets the face, right? The 面子, right? That's what's so important, right? In China, you get the face.
So I guess closing out, like I think some questions that people might have is, have you left China? Because that was an issue. Have you left China since this has been resolved?
No, I mean it's COVID, right? How funny to be stuck in China. But because the issue of leaving China now would be so great to go. Like obviously being able to leave China now, I'm just like, let's, I want to go see my family. But there'd be an issue coming back. So probably I'll wait a little bit, give it a few more months, let things settle. Leaving China.
The vaccine?
Yeah, and then I think the vaccine is key too, because even if you travel, there's going to be an issue like which vaccine did you take? Where's your paper?
Because my understanding is that if you have the Chinese vaccine now, they're allowing you to come back, and you only have to do, I think it's like a 5-day quarantine. Something like that, 5 or 7 day quarantine. But if you don't have the Chinese vaccine, then you do the 21-day quarantine. And if you don't have any vaccine, you can't go in, I think, now at this stage.
Yeah, they're just gonna be like, don't come in. Yeah, that's right. So the vaccine is the thing you got to get, right? I can easily book it, easily go. It's just I guess I've been lazy, to be honest. Yeah. So but it's very simple to get, very, very easy, just down the road from my house.
And then I guess the next question would be like, what are your plans? Like it seems like you're still, I think a lot of people would come out of this and be like, I don't want to be in China anymore. And, I kind of want to cut my ties to this country. But what are your plans?
Yeah, that's what I think a defeatist's mindset would be, right? If you really want to take yourself seriously and if you really think that, all that I've been through needs to count for something, then don't go the negative route, because you're not helping anyone. If you wallow in negativity and like, oh, fuck this, you're not helping anybody. You're just bringing out so I refuse to do that. I really don't appreciate other people doing that. And I call them out on it, because it's, if you have a platform, like you're giving me a platform to share a message, right? And if I share a negative message, even if people I'm not helping any of your listeners. None of your listeners are benefiting from a sad story. None of them. They all have sad stories. There's like, why don't you talk about their sad stories? Why don't they get a platform to talk about theirs? Everybody has been, has gone through something tough. Why doesn't everyone get a chance to talk about it? If I'm going to talk about it, I need to push, basically a story that says, yeah, this happened, but it's not gonna get me down. And I would encourage you guys to do the same. So when your listeners leave, they think, okay, yeah, I mean, some shit's happened to me. That happened just recently, my business this, or my relationship this, but you know what? It's probably not that bad. I probably could keep going and keep moving forward. Even if you can incite this sort of idea in people, at least you're having a bit of a benefit. So I think China definitely is, there's nothing wrong with me staying here. I've been accustomed to it. There's some things that they do that it takes some getting used to, but there's a lot of things that I'm already used to. And I feel like I'm so used to it now, I might as well just stay here. Like me and my girlfriend, we're going to get married. We got marriage, we got kids, we got all of this, that we're thinking about. So I don't imagine myself just leaving just because of this one burp in my life, right? It was just a burp. It was just a little, it's like, when you're driving, or, you make a wrong turn and you have to backtrack, when you're an hour, going the right way, you don't think about that anymore. That's okay. That was just a little backtrack. We're fine. We're still going. So that's kind of how I treat it, right? And that's what I encourage everybody else to treat it, right? You kind of, learn from it and get, grow from it, be better from it, and make the world better from your mistakes. Don't be a sob story and then, demand attention and, oh, poor me, cry in your own, little pity party. Try to make the world better. We have enough pity party people. We have enough of them. We already have too much. We don't need any more. I don't want to be one of those guys, right?
I think you kind of answered my final question, but I'll ask it. I'll ask it anyways, just like so you can distill it. I typically ask, like, what is the 80-20 of this? So what is the smallest thing that you can take away from this that will bring you the largest results in life or in business? Yeah,
be positive and be calm. I remember somebody asked me a similar question. I think they said, like, do you ever argue? And I was like, no, when you're young, you argue, but as you get older, you never argue. You learn. So like it's just learning, right? So if you're always positive and you don't react, you learn. It's kind of, that's how you can, it's not hard. It's really not that hard. It's just a different sort of a mindset, but you grow so much for it. Exponentially. You can grow from something, having this kind of mindset. Yeah, that's kind of how it's helped me. Yeah, that's like probably my big takeaway from this ordeal, this 4-year saga that's happened. Yeah.
4 years, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Time flies, but yeah, it's good to hear from you. Good to catch up. Like, we shouldn't let 2 years pass again. But
that's right. Yeah. So, oh man, this is good. Very happy. Very happy to get in touch with you again. I'll let you sign off on things. But yeah, I mean, this happened because you and Mike connected. So I was like, all right, like it just kind of reminded me. I was like, I should catch up with John. Yeah. Yes, thanks so much. Yeah, I'm Mike. I've got some material I'm going to send him, but I think you'll be a great support for Impact. What we're doing with his network, with NBA, with basketball players, with coaches. It's fantastic. I hope. Yeah, I want to get and talk with him. I've got some material I want to send him. See what his thoughts are. That's great. You guys are business partners, right? Wow, the world's small, right? Yep. All right, man. That's awesome. All right, have a good day. You too, dude. We're at time now, yeah? You're a busy man. Good luck with your next calls. Have a great one. Cheers. Cheers, dude. To turn back, so win or win is my only choice. I release songs they think it's for them. It's a cry for help, but they miss the point. What's mad is when I speak for them, I feel like I lose my voice. Yeah. But I can't linger or dwell on things. Yesterday's God, it's been better since. Still outside and I'm settled in. Still more scared than I ever been. Still feel blessed like I never sinned.